102.7 Sound FM. That is early Chicago from Chicago 3 around 1970 with Sing a Mean Tune Kid, a 9-minute funk, rock, horns, jazzy workout by Chicago from the early days, their best days in my opinion, the Terry Kath days. Chicago here at Sound FM, 102.7 on broadcast radio, channel 946 on Rogers Cable in Waterloo Region, and radiowaterloo.ca on our website where you can listen live. Just pick the, click on the listen live link and you can pick your method of listening. Here till 10 p.m. every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. here. Sold as new, old bands, old tracks, old bands or new stuff if they're still around, alive and kicking. Here's a band I picked up. I was just doing some spring cleaning in the almost winter at home, and I picked up this Purple Records sampler off an old classic rock magazine I had lying around. And classic rock, great magazine out of the UK. And this goes all the way back to 1972, I believe. The Bulletproof album by a band called Hard Stuff. And yeah, it was their first album. It's sort of associated with Deep Purple. And it came out in 1972. Anyway, it's on this this sampler I have, and features a bunch of acts that were on the Purple Records label that Deep Purple created back in the day, back in the old days when bands were doing that. Stones have Rolling Stones records with the Tongue, of course. Led Zeppelin did Swan Song, and Bad Company recorded on Swan Song Records, distributed by Atlantic, as was Rolling Stones records. But anyway, Purple Records was a Deep Purple undertaking, and this band called Hard Stuff, and here's a hard track called Monster in Paradise. It was written by the band, but also Ian Gillan and Roger Glover of Deep Purple helped write this track. Monster in Paradise from a band called Hard Stuff here at Sound FM.
See the monster in paradise. Oh boy, he was as cool as ice. You know me completely. We suffered defeat. We were lost. Did you see the 20-ton butterfly standing there holding up the sky? Get ready and grit your teeth. If you're standing underneath the multi-girl, I take you to an aeroplane. Look out, baby, once again. Monster in paradise. Shut your mouth, close your eyes and run, 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 run. Did you see the dog on the underground, looking for the old mommy found? We wandered up and bit my knee. Telephone to the Southland, heart beating so through my shoes. Afternoons drunk with the pirates, and it's Jesus that sings the blues. It's Jesus that sings the blues. With ether the hymns bleed through. The devil gets all the glory, but it's Jesus that sings the blues. Big Chief cries on the hillside. New World killed his children too. Cortez breed and murder, and it's Jesus that sings the blues. It's Jesus that sings the blues. With ether the dreams bleed through. The devil gets all the glory, but it's Jesus that sings the blues. Sing glory. Mama, yeah. Glory. Mama, yeah. Glory. Mama, yeah. Glory. Mama, yeah. Can a young man hide in his closet? Can a young man hide the news? With a pistol right in his temple, it's Jesus that sings the blues. It's Jesus that sings the blues. With ether the hymn bleeds through. The devil gets all the glory. It's Jesus that sings the blues. Truth, blood, fire, alcohol, sun, dancing, my naked, my naked. Telephone to the Southland,
102.7 Sound FM. Tom Wilson and the Boys from Junk House from 1993 from the Strays album, the opening cut, Jesus Sings the Blues. That's the song and the album that got me into Junk House, and it's their debut album, and got me into Junk House and also into Tom Wilson, who of course does some solo work, is in Blackie and the Rodeo Kings, who I played some time back on the show, and is also with Lee Harvey Osmond. Tom Wilson, great artist. Actually ran into him at the Blues Festival in Kitchener back 4 or 5 years ago now, probably. Junk House reunited for a show, and ran into him at a coffee shop the next morning. And yeah, we just had a nice conversation. Great guy, and I just told him how much I liked his work, and yeah. And I do, Junk House, Jesus Sings the Blues. Started the set with, let's just run down the show. We started 4 songs in. we opened with Chicago from Chicago 3 with Sing a Mean Tune Kid, then a band called Hard Stuff, which recorded on Purple Records, and I played a track called it is a hard track, hard rockin' track, Monster in Paradise, written by the band with help from Ian Gillan and Roger Glover, and they recorded on Purple Records. I pulled that, like I said before, the track off, kind of rummaging around my junk at home, and it was one of those 8 tracks on it that it comes with on a sticker with a magazine. In this case, Classic Rock Magazine, one of my favorite rock magazines, and as classic rock is my favorite kind of rock music. Anyhow, and it was a Purple Records sampler, and that came along with it. So I thought I'd play it, Monster in Paradise, from a band called Hard Stuff. Then we had John Entwistle of The Who, the great bass player from The Who, the late great, from his debut solo album in 1971, Smash Your Head Against the Wall, with a track called Number 29, in parenthesis, Eternal Youth, and then the Junk House track. This is Bald Boy, sold as new, old bands, old tracks, old bands or new stuff, if they're still around, alive, and kicking. And here's a band that has been around, alive, and kicking for a long, long time. The Rolling Stones, and they, like many bands, were going to do a 2020 tour, but everything has been put on hold, of course, because of the pandemic. But here is the Stones from their last studio album of original material. Both Time Boys, you put a new one out. They put out the blues album, Blue and Lonesome, in 2016. This goes all the way back to 2005 with a Bigger Bang album. And this is a track called Laugh, I Nearly Died, then some Zappa, and something from the new AC/DC album that just came out in the last month. Here are the Stones at Sound FM.
the city, but I'm all alone. I've been traveling, but I don't know where. I've been wondering, but I just don't care. I hate to be denied how you hurt my pride. I feel pushed aside, laugh, laugh, laugh. I nearly died. Been traveling far and wide. Wonder who's gonna be my guide. Been traveling far and wide. Wonder who's gonna be my guide. Living in a fantasy, but it's way too far. This kind of loneliness, it's way too hard. I've been wondering, feeling all alone. I lost my direction, and I lost my home. Well, I'm so sick and tired. Now I'm on a slide. Feeling so despised when you laugh, laugh. I almost died. Been traveling far away. Yeah. Wonder who's gonna be my guide. I hurt my pride. You hurt my pride. You hurt my pride. Been traveling far away. Wonder who's gonna be my guide. Been traveling far away. Wonder who's gonna be my guide. Been traveling far away. Wonder who's gonna be my guide. Been traveling far away. Wonder who's gonna be my guide. Been traveling far away. Wonder who's gonna be my guide. Been traveling far away.
Hotel room, hotel room, hotel room, hotel room. Whoever we are, or wherever we're from, we should have noticed by now our behavior is dumb. And if our chances expect to improve, it's gonna take a lot more than trying to remove the other race or the other whatever from the face of the planet altogether. They call it the Earth, which is a dumb kind of name, but they named it right, because we behave the same. We are dumb all over. Dumb all over, yes we are. Dumb all over, near and far. Dumb all over, black and white. People, we is not rap tight. Nerds on the left, nerds on the right. Religious fanatics on the air every night, saying the Bible tells the story and makes the details sound real gory about what to do if the geeks over there don't believe in the book we got over here. You can't run a race without no feet, and pretty soon there won't be no street for dummies to jog on, a dog is to dog on. Religious fanatics can make it be all gone. It won't blow up and disappear. It'll just look ugly for 1,000 years. You can't run a country by a book of religion, not by a heap or a lump or a smidgen of foolish rules of ancient date designed to make you all feel great while you fold, spindle, and mutilate those unbelievers from a neighboring state. To arms, hooray, that's great. 2 legs ain't bad unless there's a crate they ship the parts to mama in. For souvenirs, 2 ears. Get down! Not his, not hers, but what the hey? The good book says it's gotta be that way, but their book says Revenge the Crusade! With whips and chains and hand grenades, 2 arms, have another and another. Our God says there ain't no other. Our God says it's all okay. Our God says this is the way. It says in the book, burn and destroy. Repent and redeem and revenge and deploy and rumble thee forth to the land of the unbelieving scum on the other side. Because they don't go for what's in the book and that makes them bad, so verily we must choppeth them up or stompeth them down or rent a nice French bomb to poof them out of existence while leaving their real estate just where we need it to use again for temples in which to praise our God, because he can really take care of business. And when his humble TV servant with white hair and a brown suit and maybe a blonde wife who takes phone calls tells us it's okay to do this stuff, then we're supposed to do it, because if we don't do it, we ain't right up to heaven. Depending on which book you're using at the time, can't use theirs, it's all lies, gotta use mine, ain't that right? That's what they say every night, every day. Listen, we can't really be dumb if we're just following God's orders. After all, he wrote this book here. And in the book, he says he made us all to be just like him. So if we're dumb, then God is dumb. And maybe even a little bit ugly on the side.
102.7 Sound FM, that is AC/DC with Code Red, which I guess it was sort of Freudian. We are in a Code Red here in Waterloo Region with the pandemic. That's our status, one step away from lockdown. Sure hope we don't go in that direction. Anyhow, AC/DC with Code Red from the brand new album came out a few weeks ago, Power Up. It's a good one. And yeah, AC/DC back in, I was going to say back in black. It is interesting because they've said that, well, the Back in Black album in 1980 came out and was sort of dedicated to Bon Scott. This one is dedicated to Malcolm Young, who passed away over in the last few years. He had dementia and just went downhill, unfortunately. But AC/DC is back, and all the boys are back. The Brian Johnson era band, Johnson on vocals, who had some hearing issues and that have been resolved, and Angus Young, of course, Stevie Young on rhythm guitar, a nephew, and Cliff Williams back on bass, and Phil Rudd back on drums after some legal issues. He's back behind the drum kit. AC/DC with Code Red from the Power Up album. Started the set with the Stones with Laugh, I Nearly Died from the Bigger Bang album in 2005. And then Frank Zappa with Dumb All Over, which originally appeared on You Are What You Is in 1981. The version I pulled was a live version that came out on a compilation that came out in 1997 called Have I Offended Someone? And or anyone. Someone? Anyone. Have I Offended Someone? And Zappa at Sound FM, and then we had the AC/DC track. Okay, here's a band I haven't played in a long, long time, if ever. I think I have. Been doing this show a long time, but I can't remember the last time I played Iron Butterfly. So I'm going to play an Iron Butterfly track, which came off was a single, and then was put on a re-release of the Ball album that came out in 1969 originally, and it also appeared on a compilation of Iron Butterfly. A track called I Can't Help But Deceive You, Little Girl, and then we're going to go back to 69 as well with Muddy Waters, Walking Through the Park from the Fathers and Sons album that he did with various fathers and sons. Fathers like Otis Spann, Buddy Miles, and then sons like Mike Bloomfield, Paul Butterfield, Donald Duck Dunn. So here is Iron Butterfly at Sound FM, followed by Muddy Waters.
Walking down through the park. I'm going out walking down through the park. I'm gonna walk in the moonlight, walking till the night is dark. I'm going out walking down on the street. I'm going out walking down on the street. I'm gonna walk a red silent because I know she can't be beat. Down on the avenue, I'm going out walking down on the avenue. I'm gonna walk her so long till she don't know what to do. telling what you do. Cause you bother my baby, no telling what you do. Now that girl, she may cut you, she may shoot you too.
One 102.7 Sound FM. What a great tune. Muddy Waters and Friends doing Walking Through the Park from the 1969 album Fathers and Sons. It features Otis Spann, Buddy Miles, Michael Bloomfield, Paul Butterfield, Donald Duck Dunn. Fathers and Sons at Sound FM. Started the set with Iron Butterfly with I Can't Help But Deceive You Little Girl. Also from 69 was a single off the Ball album. Later, later came out on re-releases, expanded re-releases of that album, and also on a compilation, an Iron Butterfly compilation came out in the 90s or so, which also featured the single version of. Excuse me, folks. Let me take a swig of water here. The compilation also featured the single version of Inagata Da Vida, which is, of course, the 17-minute track that title cut from that album from '68 that Iron Butterfly is so well known for. But they've got a lot of other good stuff. And, in listening to that track, it's funny because or not funny, but interesting in that Doug Ingle, the singer, I sort of hear some David Clayton Thomas type vocals in that, and at the start of it too, Crazy World of Arthur Brown. But it never occurred to me before, but he sounds sounded like David Clayton Thomas of Blood, Sweat and Tears fame. Anyway, to my ears, just occurred to me really. Okay, so I've been into the band Hot Chocolate of late. And although I'm not going to play them tonight, but I'm going to play a couple tracks by them, or that they're known for. Of course, they were known for "Everyone's a Winner" and "You Sexy Thing," and just looking at my notes here. And also, "You Could Have Been a Lady," which I should play one of these weeks, and I will. Which April Wine turned into a hit back in the '70s. They also did a track, but what's interesting about "You Could Have Been a Lady" is it's very derivative of a jazz tune by Eddie Harris, a late great jazz musician, sax player, who did a track called "Why Don't You Quit," and so Hot Chocolate did "You Could Have Been a Lady," and it's very similar. I'm going to play "Why Don't You Quit," which I just stumbled upon, and I was going to play the Hot Chocolate track, but I thought I'd do the Eddie Harris "Come On Down" track. Which you'll hear, it's about almost 7 minutes long, but you'll hear very sound alike to "You Could Have Been a Lady." Eddie Harris didn't get any credit for it, but he wrote the tune, and here it is at Sound FM.
Sitting here hoping this water
102.7 Sound FM. That is Neil Young from 72, the brilliant Harvest album with words in parenthesis between the lines of age. Neil Young at Sound FM started the set with Eddie Harris, a sax player, jazz musician, with a track called Why Don't You Quit, which instrumental track, which Hot Chocolate somewhat appropriated, as it says on the Wikipedia entry, borrowed heavily from Eddie Harris for the track It Could Have Been a Lady, and which was later done and was a big hit for April Wine. So, yeah, Why Don't You Quit, Eddie Harris, the roots of You Could Have Been a Lady. And I mentioned before the track, Hot Chocolate, going to play, not them, but going to play later in the show if I get to it, Brother Louie, which was by Stories back in 72. And that's also a Hot Chocolate track, but I should get to playing some Hot Chocolate by themselves or on their own at some point, perhaps next show. And then we had Neil Young with Words Between the Lines of Age from Harvest. This is Bald Boy Sold. It's new. Old bands, old tracks, old bands are new stuff if they're still around. Alive and kicking is the theme of the show. Classic rock deep cuts, basically. And as we hit about 45 minutes to go, just the clock on the wall just said 9:12. So I'm going to play a long track from the krautrock band Can. I was going to play some shorter stuff. I was talking with a friend of mine last night about them. And I decided to play this one from the Soundtracks album, which came out, which is exactly what it is, music for movies, which came out in 1970 from Can. And an acquired taste, Can, but I like them a lot. And here is a 14.5-minute track, Mother Sky. Very hypnotic. Enjoy at Sound FM. 102.7 Sound FM, that is Can, with a hypnotic track, Mother Sky, from the 1968 album Soundtracks at Sound FM. A one-song set, 14.5 minutes worth. This is Bald Boy, Sold Is New. Old bands, old tracks, old bands are new stuff if they're still around, alive and kicking. And we're coming to you on 102.7, of course, Sound FM on broadcast radio, channel 946 in Waterloo region on Rogers Cable, and radiowaterloo.ca on the website, where you can listen live to us, not only my show Monday nights, but throughout the week, as the wide gamut, wide range of shows that we have on the station. Here is Warren Zevon from the live album Stand in the Fire that came out in 1980, I believe. And let me just check that for you. Yep, came out in 1980. It's acknowledged as one of the great live albums of all time. And here is Warren Zevon doing Bo Diddley's a Gunslinger and Bo Diddley live at Sound FM.
She was black as the night. Louis was white.
To escape, the city was sticky and cruel. Maybe I should have called you first, but I was dying to get to you. I was dreaming while I drove the long straight road ahead. Yeah. Could taste your sweet kisses, your arms open wide. This fever for you was just burning me up inside. I drove all night to get to you. Is that alright? I drove all night, crept in your room, woke you from your sleep to make love to you. Is that alright? I drove all night. What in this world keeps us from falling apart? No matter where I go, I hear the beating of our one heart. I think about you when the night is cold and dark. Yeah. No one can move me the way that you do. Nothing erases this feeling between me and you. I drove all night to get to you. Is that alright? I drove all night.
102.7 Sound FM, that's Roy Orbison with I Drove All Night. And I pulled that off a Roy Orbison compilation. And it's a track written by Billy Steinberg and Tom Kelly, who wanted to write a Roy Orbison type tune, and then Roy Orbison himself heard it and wanted to record it, so he did. It became a number 12 hit in the UK, came out in 1992, the late great Roy Orbison here at Sound FM. Started the set with Warren Zevon with from the live album in 1980, Standing in the Fire with Bo Diddley's A Gunslinger / Bo Diddley, a live version. Stories, Brother Louie from 1973, another Hot Chocolate track, and I mentioned them earlier in the set in the show. Gonna have to do a Hot Chocolate set maybe next week or the week in the coming weeks. And then we had Bad Company from the Burnin' Sky album with a cool track, Master of Ceremony, a long hypnotic track, Master of Ceremony from Bad Company, and then we had Roy Orbison with I Drove All Night. And I'm going to call it a night for the show tonight, but one more track, Canada's own Rush. This is probably from it's the first Rush album I really got into. And in some ways it remains my favorite. A Farewell to Kings, and one of the early Rush albums. And a track called Closer to the Heart was the hit, but this is Xanadu. Going to close things out tonight. Xanadu with Rush at Sound FM. Wonderful track, great drumming. Just a track that shows everything that made Rush so great. Xanadu at Sound FM. This is Bald Boy signing off. Take care, and we'll see you next week.
seek the sacred river out, to walk the caves of ice, to break my fast on honeydew and drink the milk of paradise. I had heard the whisper tales of immortality, the deepest mystery. From an ancient book, I took a clue. I scaled the frozen mountaintops of eastern lands unknown. Time and man alone, searching for the lost Xanadu. To stand within the pleasure dome decreed by Kubla Khan, to taste anew the fruits of life, the last immortal man, find the sacred river realm, to walk the caves of ice. Oh, I will dine on honeydew and drink the milk of paradise. Oh, paradise. A thousand years have come and gone, but time has passed me by. Stars stopped in the sky, frozen in an everlasting view, waiting for the world to end, weary of the night, praying for the light, present of the lost Xanadu.
your material. Now, a quick note, please make sure when you're giving us a digital release that the metadata on digital files include the title,